Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week you're going to see me doing a bit of charcoal landscape drawing. Basically I'm going to draw a tree in a field. Nothing complicated, keeping everything simple. I'm going to use willow charcoal. It's the type of charcoal that I would normally use, and it's my favorite really these days. Charcoal does come in lots of different varieties. Different forms. If you're getting started with charcoal, I wouldn't get too worried about all the different forms that you can buy it in. I would just get something and just get started. Well, maybe before that, I would suggest one additional step to getting started with charcoal or any other medium, and that's to pick a style. Is there a particular artist or a particular artistic style, impressionism, realism, whatever it is, something that you really like and you would like to paint, draw, whatever, in that sort of style? That's where I would start. That's where I would advise people starting. Once you've decided that, you've got a foundation to build on. Now you still have to figure out how to draw and paint in that style, but at least you have a direction to travel in. The next step then is, okay, so we're going to use charcoal, for example. So what kind of charcoal? It comes in many different forms. I use mainly willow charcoal. You can also get vine charcoal. You can get compressed charcoal. You can get charcoal dust. You can get liquid charcoal. Lots of possibilities. I would just get started. I wouldn't worry too much about all the different things. Get yourself some, for example, willow charcoal, maybe some compressed charcoal, and just play around with them and see what happens. What can you do with them? Say you know what direction you want to go in. You know what type of art you want to create. It's just figuring out how to do that. In my case, the way I'm doing it, I'm not a naturalistic or realistic painter. I'm more into Impressionism, post-Impressionism, modern art, that type of thing. So that's the kind of style that I'm going for. So it's still representational art. I'm still trying to draw a tree in a field. It's not super realistic. I don't use any references, for example. It's all just imagination, memory. So it's not an actual tree. It's my impression of a tree, if you like. But I would put down charcoal. I use some soft paper, tissue paper, or Kleenex, if you like, to smudge that charcoal, create different types of edges, soft edges, hard edges. And then at the moment you saw me using a kneadable or kneaded razor, or some people call it a putty eraser. Lots of different names for these things. It's basically a piece of unvulcanized rubber. And you can use that not as an eraser so much as fixing mistakes, but instead you use it as a drawing tool. You can lift off some of the charcoal, exposing the white paper underneath, and this gives you another value to play with. So you've got the white of the paper, you've got the dark black of the charcoal. If you smudge some of the charcoal and lift some of it off, you get a grey, a sort of mid-grey. And just playing around with those values create different marks that suggest a tree or a landscape or a person's face or whatever it is that you're trying to draw. On screen you can see on the left the finished drawing, and on the right I turned it into a kind of poster. I made a video about this a few months ago. It's one of the things I do. It's an ongoing thing. I'm taking some of this charcoal drawings and turning them into posters. To help with that, I use an app. It's called Affinity Designer. Let's say I did make a video. If anybody's interested, you can go onto my homepage on YouTube and find the video there. If we sort of take that drawing and focus in on the bottom part of the tree and expand that up, you can see some of the marks that I was making. So let's say I put down some charcoal, smudge it with a tissue paper, and then I also use some charcoal pencils to create dark lines. I use a white pastel pencil to also create some lines, and then the eraser that I was using to lift off some of the charcoal and create different shapes, blobs and lines and things. And the goal of all of this, as I say, I'm not a naturalistic or realistic painter. I'm trying to make marks that suggest leaves and grass and vegetation. And that's the way I do it. That's the way I work. I say if you start with a goal, I'm going to do photorealism, or I'm going to do impressionism, or whatever it is, you've got that goal, and then figure out how you get there. I say figure out, that's the tricky part. That's the bit that can take months or years to figure out. But that's art. You're not going to do it in a day or a week. It'll take a bit of time. Just don't give up. Charcoal itself, it's a fun medium to work with. It's quite a forgiving medium. You can change things generally, especially willow charcoal. The compressed charcoal is a little less forgiving. It's much more difficult to lift off the paper. But in general, it's a fun, if messy, medium to work with. And you can learn a lot. Even if your goal is to focus on painting, you can still learn a lot by using charcoal. You can learn about edges, you can learn about values. It's a very useful medium to work with. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching and listening, and hopefully see you again in 2 weeks' time.